Hello, Sister Kal, Namaste, Assalamu Alaikum. My name is Farheen Khan, and you're watching the Azeeza Show. Today we have a really wonderful guest, someone that I've known for quite some time, joined the show. Her name is Sarah Jean Villa. Sarah Jean, thank you so much for being here today. One of the things that, often on the show we've had some really remarkable women come in. Some have, gone through various challenges in their lives and have been able to find a space to kind of, call their own and a way to express themselves and to try and make not just their lives, but the lives of other women a better place. And so I'm really excited. I know we met, we're just thinking like 2011 maybe?
Like 2011, 2010, but I think
something
2011.
like that.
Yeah.
It's been quite a while.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
from the intern place.
Yeah, and I remember when I first met you, we had talked about your experience sort of with engaging in the shelter sort of process, right? So let's start with. I mean, I know a little bit about you, but why don't you tell us, who you are, what your story is?
Sure. Well, my story is basically I got when we met. We'll start there, and then I'll add other stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I got help from the intern place, which is an amazing shelter for women and children who have been leaving an abusive situation, will be physical violence or verbal abuse. So I had someone named Stella. She helped me to get housing, safe housing, at that time in my life, because I was dealing with emotional abuse, and so I needed a safe place to live. And it wasn't until about 2009 where I started my healing journey and retraining my brain, and I had someone save my life. I was an addict, and I was addicted to cocaine, and it was very intense. And I had someone kind of come into my life and kind of retrain my brain, give me hope, be my friend, offer me all the help I needed. His name is Howard, and he's kind of been my I guess angel, or as I'd like to compare him to Dan Millman, the way of the peaceful warrior, that kind of story where the athlete goes through a hard time, and this elderly man comes and changes his mentality and the way he thinks and gets him help. That's kind of the way I see my friend Howard. So yeah, he helped me get off drugs and get to counseling and therapy and all this acupuncture and alternative healing, and so I went through this whole process of just changing the way I think to become my true self, because it was all locked away because I was sexually abused at such a young age. From 4 by someone in my family. Yeah, so I mean, it just kind of escalated with other people, and had incidents in elementary school. So it was always kind of around some kind of sexual abuse, which caused me to do drugs at a very young age to kind of escape that pain. So I didn't really have much of a childhood. So it was very difficult. I didn't really have many friends. My cat was basically my best friend. So I was just, trying to fit in, being weird. My mom always dressed me up in fancy dresses, so I think that's why I always kind of wear dresses. I'm always fancy. That's just part of who I am. So kids would make fun of me because of that. And because I'm Italian, I had in European cultures, you have hair. So I get made fun of that for having hair. So it was just everything, it was just a lot to take in as a child, especially being sexually abused, and then hang out with the wrong crowd, hang out with people that are older than me, that I shouldn't, probably shouldn't have been hanging out with. So it just kind of all escalated. And then in 2009 is when I was pretty close to dying. So my friend that was watching me in a place that I was working in, an unsafe place, basically just told me, you have a choice, you could live or you could die. What do you want to do? And I was and I had moments where I was in my bathtub at my parents' house, ready to end my life many times. And when he told me that, I'm I want to live, I want to live, so let's do this, and he's good, because he was kind of watching me for months, and I would just kind of say hi and kind of walk away. But when he made that thing, you can either live or die, I was I'm here to do something. I'm here to do something bigger than myself. And that's pretty much where my healing journey started. And then when I started to kind of go through everything and connect to my true self and find my voice, where I wrote the song Just Breathe about being bullied and how guys and girls get bullied, that just all spun in to a lot of different things. I went to school for the Randolph Academy for the Performing Arts for musical theater, and like that was before like my healing journey. So when I did all this stuff, I did like touring shows in schools for kids. So I had that like background, and then I just wanted to, like, as I was going through my healing process, like doing hot yoga and all these like alternative ways of healing, and reaching out to the intern place, and reaching out to like the Gatehouse, which is another really good organization that has helped me with their groups. I did a lot of group therapy, a lot of like working out and fitness, and like just doing everything I've never done before to heal. You know, as soon as I found out like I was sexually abused at like such a young age, I had like no desire to do any drugs. Like I knew why I did the drugs now, because I didn't realize it was that deep. So I was like, as soon as I found out I was so young, like I'm getting goosebumps, like just saying, but as soon as I realized it was so young, I was just like, I'm done. Like I don't need anything. Now I need to be me and like heal. So, and as I was going through my healing process, that's when I was like, I need to talk to kids and youth and women and people who feel alone, and share like my story, like what I've been through, and openly, like everything from like being an addict to being sexually abused to being depressed to having mental health to like post-traumatic stress, like all this stuff. And like now I have a service animal that helps. So there's just all these things that have helped me cope and live like each day. And that's where I came up with Rock Your True Inner Beauty. And
so tell us what that was, or what that is.
Yeah, for sure. Rock Your True Inner Beauty came out when I was in this youth entrepreneurship program. It's in the city of Brampton, actually, called Job Skills. And they like help like people from I think 18 to 30. So I was like, I just like 30. I was 30, and like that was it. Like that was like, I'm like, let me in. And they actually like give you all the advice you need to put your own business together. And it's some people who haven't graduated high school, they didn't get, like you have to have certain things to get in there. And they help like, you know, troubled youth or people who've been through a difficult time, like run their own business. And it was such a cool program, such a cool experience. They helped me put like a full out, like I have learning disabilities, so it's like a full out like written like business plan, like it's a binder like that. And they helped me, you know, develop Rock Your True Inner Beauty, which is a program I designed. It's like a workshop, or it could be a show where I go into schools, I work with organizations, and I talk to people about building self-esteem, self-awareness, self-acceptance. And I have 2 like big purple mirrors where I put in the words that people have like called me, like fat, ugly, stupid, not good enough, like hairy, whatever, all my negative words like on this one mirror. And then as I'm talking about my story, like the kids will come up and write words that people have called them. So they write that on that mirror. And then on the other mirror is like positive words, like words that we, you know, because I talk how words are just thoughts. It's not who we are. It's just what other people are projecting on us. It's not who we're born. It's not our true self. And then the other mirror is like words that, you know, good words that someone have called people. Like you are good enough, like love and kindness and acceptance and beauty. You're beautiful. You're smart. You're weird. Like being weird is cool, you know. So we have those 2 mirrors, and it's very engaging. I've done quite a few shows now, and kids who like wouldn't even speak will just come up and, you know, say stuff and write stuff, and it's very like participation. There's a lot of like singing along, sings-alongs, and like everyone gets a little gem. So yeah, that's pretty much the show that I came up with, to talk about my story, so people feel like they're not alone. And I talk about it very openly on my Facebook, on my Instagram. No matter what I'm going through, I live feed it. Yeah, for sure.
So here's the question for you. So in terms of like your so there's 2 things I remember also. So one is that like you also talk about like, you know, self-esteem, but also like your physical self, right? Like you've also dealt with some sort of like weight issues and things as well, right? So I mean, I've seen some of the pictures from before, and like, you know, and so how do you have, like, is that part of the discussion as well?
Yeah, for sure. Like every discussion is catered to like who I'm talking to. For schools, you know, I mostly talk about bullying and like building self-esteem. And then I've done some stuff where it's like at the YMCA, where people are trying to find like jobs or find their path. So we talk about like volunteering. And then I've done stuff where I talk about like I've had like eating disorders too, like body morphia, where you know, I've like when I was an addict on cocaine, like that also helped me be like someone I wasn't, you know, like I was very thin. I was like size extra small, like very sick. I wasn't eating anything. I would eat like plantain chips, like that's it. And drugs. And like, you know, that was my food. And I was on the Dr. Bernstein diet, which was like very terrible for like your body, my body, because you don't eat anything, and they weigh you, and it was very difficult. I was on that for a couple of years because I struggled with my weight. My background I started as a dancer, like jazz and tap and ballet, so it was very strict. Like I always had to wear like certain costumes and like very like self-conscious as a child, like in the entertainment field of like how you look and your weight. And I was always bigger, like tall and bigger boned or physique, So I struggled a lot with my weight and like eating and emotional eating. But I mean, it makes sense considering like what I've been through, exactly. Why I ate what I did. And then like I lost a lot of weight on the Dr. Bernstein and then gained it back and then lost it and it's always been like a up and down kind of thing for me. It's definitely like an emotional thing for sure.
For sure. I mean, I totally can relate to that. So in terms of the singing, so when did you pick up on like singing? Because you sing. Yeah.
I started singing when I was 9. Okay. At my dance studio where I danced, because I danced first. I started dancing at 3. So I had a singing teacher there who like taught Shania Twain. And I just told my mom, and I'm just like, I really want to sing like Michael Jackson. Like, I really want to take lessons, because I would always dance around my house, like singing his songs and like, being crazy. And so they're like, okay, we'll put you in lessons. So I started singing at the age of 9. Okay. And I did like classical, like trained like classically, did like the exams and like I did some like opera, like sang in Italian, like all that stuff. Okay. And then I did a lot of musical theater with Anthony and Denise. They ran like a Mississauga, like a theater company for kids. Okay. So I was involved in musicals a lot as a child. I loved musicals. I still love musicals. So that's kind of how I started singing. I didn't write to my own music, like my own original music, until I was like out of Randolph. But I did go to Randolph for musical theater, performing arts, like singing, dancing, acting, which was a really good experience for me. And like I auditioned 3 times to get in there. And I told them like, I'm just going to keep auditioning until you get me in, because my parents kind of forced me to go to college. And I was like, if I'm going to college, like I'm going somewhere creative. Like creative, exactly. So I just told them like, I'm just going to keep auditioning until I get in. And they're like, okay. So I finally like got in, and it was very like a therapeutic experience for me too. Okay. Because it's like
let's talk about that. Yeah, I just want to. I know we have to take a quick break, and you're also going to sing a couple of songs for us, which I'm really excited about. So, and then when we finish that, let's continue the conversation. Sure. I really want to know what that was like. All right, we'll be back soon.
To be normal anyway. Fitting in has never been my thing. I never really tried or bothered. I like to stand alone in a crowd. I'd rather be different as well. Getting dressed up daily to rebel. Weird, weird, weird. Who wants to be normal anyway? Who wants to be perfect every day? Awkward is a better way of living. 'Cause we have some new black. 'Cause we have some new black. Always was the outcast in school. Kids bullied me, it was super cruel. I learned a lot from all the pain. Oh, love and kindness is what I have gained. Grateful for the friends I have made. Weird, weird, weird. Who wants to be normal anyway? Who wants to be perfect every day? Awkward is a better way of living. Who wants to be normal anyway? Who wants to be perfect every day? Awkward is a better way judge, it's just not fair. We're all different, you don't need to care. Walk proud, let your heart shine. Oh, be you, nothing wrong, you're fine. You're fine, just the way you are. We're the new black. Now let me hear your weird voice sing it. We're the new black. Now let me hear your weird voice shine. We're the new black. Now let's be weird together. We're the new black. Now let's be weird forever. You don't wanna be normal anyway. Weird, 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 weird. Yeah, weird is the new black, everybody. Cool, we're gonna do one more song for you. This is called This Is Us, and here we go. I'm not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, we don't want your broken parts. I used to be ashamed of all the scars. Hide away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words want to cut us down, we're gonna send a flood, we're gonna drown them out. We are brave, we are bruised, we are who we're meant to be. This is us, watch out, cause here we come. And we're marching on to the beat we drum. We're not scared to be seen, we make no apologies. This is us, rebels, 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 warriors, warriors, warriors. Another round of bullets hits my skin. We'll fire away, cause today I won't let your shit sink in. We are busting through the barricades and reaching for the sun. We are warriors, yeah, that's what we've become. I won't let them break us down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words want to cut us down, we're gonna send a flood, we're gonna drown them out. We are brave, we are bruised, we are who we're meant to be. This is us, watch out, cause here we come. And we're marching on to the beat we drum. We're not scared to be seen, we make no apologies. This is us, rebels, 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 warriors, warriors, warriors. When the sharpest words want to cut us down, we're gonna send a flood, we're gonna drown them out. This is brave, this is proof, this is who we're meant to be. This is us, watch out, cause here we come. And we're marching on to the beat we drum. We're not scared to be seen, we make no apologies. This is us, and I know that I deserve your love, cause there's nothing we're not worthy of. This is us. Yeah, rock your true inner beauty, give it up for Andrea. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Azeeza Show. My name is Farheen Khan, and today with us is Sarah Jean Villa. So Sarah Jean, that was a really great performance.
Thank you.
You know, you talked about the fact that you had gone to the Randolph School of Performing Arts, right? So you were persistent on getting into that program. You wanted to be creative, you said, right?
Yeah. I knew I wanted to be there. Like I knew I had to be there, so I did whatever I could to get in there. And it was a very healing experience for me. Like I don't think technically I was ready to be in college because I was dealing with so much emotionally and everything that I've been through in my life. Right. But I feel like it was almost like a double-edged sword. Like I wasn't ready, but being there was helped me a lot. Because it was kind of like therapy, you know. You're in a class with 20, 30 people, and you're writing journals and crying and it's just so much. And you're there from school at 9 a.m. to 9 at night, and all you're doing is singing, dancing, and acting every day. I had no life, no friend, nothing. I was just school. So I think I cried for the first time there in a long time, and I would cry almost every day because it was very terrifying for me. Singing, I had no problem, but when it had to come to do acting in front of the class and saying words to people, that kind of terrified me. So I couldn't even get through a monologue without just having all this fear because of everything I've been through. And it took me a long time in school. I think probably I don't know, second term or third term to really just nail a whole monologue because I have learning challenges. And I found ways to memorize things, repeat stuff. That's how I memorize stuff. So being in the Randolph helped me, I guess, hone my craft as to what I do today. And it got me to doing touring shows, in schools with kids, and getting out there, doing that kind of stuff. And now I have my own show called Rock Your True Inner Beauty. It propelled me to start, when I left Randolph, I started writing my own music with other producers and people and testing it out. And the very first show I ever played with my own music, I opened up for Fifi Dobson, and I was the entertainment coordinator for that show too.
Amazing.
So I booked myself for the show. I sang original songs. I had a full band. I was at the Opera House, and that was my first show ever to sing my own music. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of films, and I did a lot of stuff. And then it wasn't until I truly started to heal in 2009-10 when I wrote Just Breathe that I really connected to my real voice, the way I sing now. Because when I got out of school, I was kind of more in my head. I wasn't connected to my body. So people are your voice is really pretty, but there was no emotion because I still had to break down so many walls of all the stuff that I've been through. So yeah, Just Breathe was a song that was everyone was that's the best song you have written at that time to come out and share my story.
So Sarah Jean, I mean, there's a lot of women that watch the show and they've been reaching out to me as well about some of the challenges that they're dealing with. What would you say are some words of wisdom or advice that you would give to women that are going through a difficult time and are looking to, quote, find their voice in their own way?
Yeah. My advice is to reach out and get help. From anybody that you feel safe with. And there's a lot of organizations that will help you because I've met a lot of people on my path that they're it's a scary thing, to reach out and ask for help when you're you feel alone and you're this person's going to judge me, all these thoughts go through your head. But there are people out there to help you, and even if you don't feel safe enough to talk to somebody, even if you send an email to start or make a phone call and then go in person, just take small steps, to reach out and ask for help, because there's so many organizations in Mississauga. I just moved to Guelph. There's so much help in Guelph. There's a women's crisis center there. There's a Hope House there. Here there's an intern place and the food banks, and there's all these places that will lift you up and help you if you just reach out and ask. And that's the hardest part, right? That's why I kind of came up with change your words, change your world, share your story, and shine your light. Because when you change your words, when you change the way you think, and you share, you let that stuff out, and your life just things happen. You get the help you need, and you're connected.
Yes.
And there are people who are kind in this world, in this dark world. There are people who are kind and that will help you. and just to do things that make you happy every day. You know, I think that's very important too, and not listen to what other people tell you that you know you should do. Like you should do this, and you should be here, and you should have this, and you need to be married, and you need to have like all these things, that all the pressure of people that they put on you. You just kind of need to step away from that and like, you know, listen to your inner child, your little voice that's telling you, no, like I need to get out of this situation. I got to figure this out, and I got to find out the right help. And like the internet, you know, has everything you need. There's like crisis, you know, there's crisis lines that you can call that will direct you. There's even a place here in Mississauga, I think it's Brampton actually. Like you can call them and they'll like meet you in person and give you like, you know, okay, you need a place, a safe place to stay. They'll send you to the shelter.
They're like outreach
workers. They'll like help you like they'll help you every step of the way. They'll meet you in person somewhere safe, like a coffee shop. Or I met them at the Recovery West when I was there. So there's like, you know, just reach out, ask for help.
Right.
You know, if someone's watching this, like you can email me.
Yeah.
I'll send you like everything that I've like, you know, learned on my journey, all the help that I've got. Like you can hand out my email. I have no problem.
Sure.
Like reaching out to people and sharing my story, because, you know, I've also left like a very unhealthy marriage as well. So I know what that's like. And I had to like redo my healing journey. So like I get it. It's a very scary place to be at, for sure.
Sorry to hear that, but you know, you're a resilient woman. You have a lot of courage, and you've really inspired me, and I know you inspire many women with the work that you do and with your voice. So thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for sharing your story, for sharing your voice with us, for you know, inspiring us to keep going. And do you have a website that we can?
Yeah.
Okay.
My website is sarahjeanvilla.com.
Okay.
And my email is sarahjeanvilla@gmail.com. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. My album is on iTunes and Spotify and Bandcamp. And everything you need to know is there. I have all my art and all there.
Awesome.
So rock your true inner beauty each and every day for the rest of your life, and keep it magical.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, with that, we'd like to wrap up the show tonight. Thank you again for being here. You know, as Sarah Jean said, it's all about rocking your true inner beauty. Look inside yourself. You know, we all go through difficult times, but we all have it in ourselves to overcome those obstacles and to really find our voice and our true inner selves. So until next week, take care.